I thought about wearing my Halloween costume. I have the scariest Halloween costume. I go as Winnie the Pooh. Think about it. What's creepier than me showing up to your front door wearing only a red half shirt? Carrying a pot of honey? Singing some White Zombie? Pretty creepy, I would know. I've seen me naked. Oh, love it. I love Halloween, I do. I like going to a haunted house. Y'all ever go to a haunted house? That was about 12 of you. The rest of you already live in a haunted house? Is that what's going on here? I'm not gonna leave my haunted house to go to another one. I got my own problems at home. I love it, man. I love going to a haunted house. I do. I like watching all the shows on TV about haunted houses. And they got a bunch of those too, you know, like American Horror Story and all those ghost hunting shows and Scooby-Doo. It's awesome. The thing is, it's always something huge that's haunted. It's always like a haunted mansion or a haunted prison or a haunted Sam's Club or something like that. It's always something really big. And they never show a haunted trailer. And I don't know about you, but I refuse to believe that nobody has ever been killed in a trailer and now wanted to come back and haunt that thing. You know there are haunted trailers out there somewhere, and the people who live in them are just too lazy to report it, you know? You know, there's some dude, he's just sitting in his trailer, and all of a sudden he hears, boo! What in the world was that? Go get me a beer. I'm gonna get my gun, that's what I'm gonna do. Turn the TV on, Swamp People is on. I can't find the remote control, you know that. Most ghosts are wearing like a Civil War outfit or a flowing gown or their IHOP uniform, and this ghost is wearing a white tank top and camo pants, and his name is Earl. It's a scary ghost right there.
Most kids, their favorite holiday is Christmas. Not when you're from a large family, because it might not be your turn to get a present that year. A large family, your favorite holiday is Halloween because it is incentive-based. If you hustle, you can stock up for the year. Halloween comes around, all you know is you're gonna run for as hard as you can, as long as you can. A lot of kids try to tell you, oh, Halloween ends at 10 p.m. Wrong, Halloween ends when people quit answering the door. And most kids, they're just concerned about what they're gonna be for Halloween. You ask a kid from a large family, what are you gonna be? I'm gonna be as fast as I can. You're gonna wear a costume would slow me down. And you hate it when you get to that nice lady's house, that nice lady that just wants to talk. Halloween night, and she wants to have a conversation. And what are you supposed to be? I do not have time for this. Put the candy in the bag. I had one brother, he wouldn't even talk to people. Halloween night, they try to talk to him. He'd just look at him and go... I've seen grown men just back away, just throw candy at him, maybe he'll leave. We had a new guy move into the neighborhood one year. He just looked at my brother and said, "Scusi." And you know what you hate? Well, actually what you love is the lazy guy's house. The lazy guy, Halloween night, the guy that puts a bowl full of candy on his front porch with a note, please take one. We not only dumped the bowl, we took the bowl. We took the note because you want to show other kids, you got to read this. This is funny. And we use pillowcases because, pillowcases, you can't fill them up. It's physically impossible. We try it every year. But you got the pillowcase, and then you see that kid with the paper bag, whack! Oh, I'd love to help you pick up your candy.
See, because it's all in how you look at things, folks. You just gotta think positive. You gotta think outside the box. For example, I celebrate Halloween in August because when you show up at someone's house at night wearing a mask in August, you get better stuff.
Before this, I was a teacher. I taught high school English in the state of Missouri for a couple of years. Any teachers in here tonight by chance? Are you really? I really can't see you. Just yell it out. What do you teach? Art. Oh, okay, that's kind of different. You tell your students in art there's no such thing as a stupid question? That's such a lie, isn't it? Because let me tell you something, when you teach, not only are there stupid questions, those are generally the only kind you get. It's in the middle of October, my kids were studying Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Headless Horseman, that whole thing. I've got a kid in the back of the room raise his hand and said, Mr. Thornsberry, wouldn't that be really weird if Halloween and Friday the 13th happened on the same day? That'd be spooky.
Who can tell me what the most popular item is at secondhand stores? Anyone? And it's based on a season. That's the clue that I will give you. Christmas sweaters would be number 2. Halloween costume. Very good. Does that come from you, sir? Have you ever done that? Bought a Halloween costume at the Goodwill? No, but you've seen it happen, right? And by saying it, it's make your costume out of the things they have, not buy an old Halloween costume, because no one would do that. They're not made well enough to get a second spin. Plus, they make them so well. Who would buy an old Halloween, really? Remember the ones that we had to wear, the one-dimensional plastic face mask that fastened with a rubber band that would snap off your face after the second house because the metal piece had flipped sideways and shoot through the hole and you can't get it back, so you're trying to stretch it under the staple to get it through the hole, but that doesn't work because there's a tear where the hole is. So you're like holding up the mask with one hand and dragging the candy with the other. You're knocking on doors with your rear end. Yeah, this is working out perfectly. I've got a box of Milk Duds. I'm ready to pass out. This is not an exciting day. I'm gonna go home and get my ghost costume. Remember the ghost costume? That was our insurance policy, right? Fallback option. If all else failed, you could always be a ghost. He's right there in the bed waiting for you. That's how easy that is. Pull up that sheet, you drop it over your head, you're a ghost. Always spot the bedwetters a lot quicker on Halloween, too, couldn't you? By God, we look at that. A specter with a bladder control problem. I'm doubly frightened. And hopefully you never have to use the fallback option, because whatever your kids want to be for Halloween, that's the costume you get them. When I was a kid, I was Batman every year because I was such a huge fan of Batman. And kids now, that's more popular even when I was a kid, but it's so different now because kids dress up like Batman. They've got body armor on, and remember our Batman? Like Adam West was our Batman, right? That's how I thought Batman was supposed to behave. I was knocking on doors. I wasn't just Batman. I was Adam West as Batman, right? Trick or treat, good citizen. Carefully produce your sugar-coated confections and place them in the candy compartment of my utility belt. Sure, it took me a little longer to trick or treat, but I was method. Anybody ever go too late? The costume that your son or daughter asked you for wasn't there anymore? Then you got to literally scrape whatever's at the bottom of the barrel the whole ride home. You're like, okay, how do I sell this as the intended costume? How am I going to convince an 8-year-old boy that Holly Hobby is an appropriate look? You're like, no, it looks fantastic. Just stick close to your brother's strawberry shortcake. Everything's going to be fine. Because Halloween is about disguise. And then you have to give your kids the rules of Halloween. Remember those rules of Halloween? Number 1 was the apple rule. What was that? Somebody gave you an apple, you had to consider the possibility of what? Exactly right, that some nut may have put a razor blade in the apple. It is then your responsibility, and I mean this, to whip that apple off the side of that guy's house as hard as you possibly can. It's one of the unwritten laws of Halloween. Like the one that says if you put a pumpkin out in front of your house, may as well put with it a sign that says, hey, would you guys please kick this all over the neighborhood, please? We were hoping you'd have a punting contest with it out front and then smear what's left of the jack-o'-lantern all over our siding. We'd like that. Those are the same people who put all their candy in one big bowl, right? Leave it on the front step. What does their sign say? Anyone? Take one. Where do you live? Take one. Are you serious? I'm the first kid of that house. I'm taking the bowl, too. I've got a decorative Mother's Day gift as far as I'm concerned. Take one. You're an idiot. Take one. How about the guy that forgot Halloween? Remember that guy? Didn't have any idea what day it was? No candy? You get there, now he has to find things in the house to give you. Yeah, that always worked out well, didn't it? Yeah, Slim Jims and Robitussin. No, that's perfect. I have bronchitis. Here, kid, here's an egg. Scoop of peanut butter for you, my friend. It's like, man, if the guy next door has bread, what a day this would be. But a boy can dream.
My nieces and nephews love me. I still go trick-or-treating with them. I dress up and everything. I was Michael Jackson last year. I was. I didn't even have to put on a costume. I just did my nose like this. If you didn't laugh at that, I hope you fall down a small flight of stairs. I almost passed out for you people.
I have a little nephew, Evan, Yvonne, I don't know what the heck his name is. I got him a Halloween mask. You know the cool masks for the kids today? The rubber ones, you pump with blood, comes out of the pore. I don't like it, Uncle. You little brat. Do you know what I had? What you had growing up? See if you relate to this. I'm surprised I'm still alive. I had a plastic suffocation chamber with a thin rubber band that ripped your hair out of the roots. The eye slits were on the forehead. You can't see! The only hole in the mask was that little slit in the mouth. But you didn't breathe, whether you just stuck your tongue out. When you got stuck, looked like a flirty Chewbacca the whole night. Sorry.
I'm named after my dad, but here's the deal. I'm a comedian, so I'm supposed to be funny. My dad's one of those guys that thinks he's funny. You know those guys? That was my dad. He used to love to tell jokes and play games with his kids. This is one of my dad's favorite games to play with us growing up. Hey, see if you can find your way home from here. Halloween dressed me up as a speed bump. I got home, my candy was smashed. You know what wasn't smashed? Candy corn. That's the worst candy you could get for Halloween, candy corn. You might as well hand out chalk. You ever eat chalk? You look like a dog eating a pickle.
Oh man, I'm just glad I don't have to hand out Halloween candy anymore now that my sister has kids that go over there. Because when I first went in, I had to hand it out. I didn't have all of it ready because there were like 4,000 kids. So I went to my trick-or-treating at my neighbor's house. She's like, what are you supposed to be? I'm like, prepared, give me the candy. Let's not belabor this.
Beautiful time, springtime, beautiful time. I love summer. I love the holiday season too. It's like I can't wait for the next holiday season all the time. My favorite holiday? Christmas. I love me some Christmas. My least favorite holiday is every man in this room's least favorite holiday, ladies. Valentine's Day. Every man in here hates Valentine's Day, ladies, and here's why. For guys, Valentine's Day is exactly the same holiday as Halloween. Think about it, young lady. It's a day where he got to dress up, pretend he's somebody he ain't, and then he gives away candy.
Before that, I worked on the Queen Mary, a ship in Long Beach, California. They have a Halloween haunted maze thingy they do every year. I was a vampire on that thing. That was tough for me. I don't know anything about vampires. There's only two types of vampires that I know. There's the modern day vampire that's like P90X, glitter. And then there's Count Chocula. Just a lovable serial character. Both of those aren't scary. I had to be scary. Not to mention I'm the least intimidating dude ever. I'd pop out and 7-year-old kids would be like, I could take him. I just had to settle for being creepy. I just grabbed my cape, draped it over, and whispered in people's ears, hey, I'm naked under this. Got the biggest screams. The place I was at was supposed to be actually haunted. I didn't see anything. I was creeped out though the whole time. I watch all those ghost shows on TV. You guys watch those at all? There was one the other day I saw. It was on the Animal Planet, and people claim that their pets see ghosts. This lady was like, "My dog Rocky just started barking at the wall for no reason." I was like, "Yeah, it's called being a dog." My great aunt once had a full conversation with a coffee mug. It doesn't mean her cup is haunted. It just means her pills stopped working. And that dog doesn't know he saw a ghost, right? At the end of the day, that dog goes up to his other dog friend and is like, "Hey, I just saw a blurry guy." And then the other dog's like, "That's not that weird. My tail's trying to murder me." We have weird theories about ghosts. We think the cemetery's haunted. I was asking my buddy about it. He's like, "Dude, it's from all the people who died at the cemetery." I'm like, nobody died at the cemetery. That's the shadiest death of all time. I'm still alive, not for long. It's always the same ghost. It's always a little girl in the white dress. Like there are no caveman ghosts anywhere. Maybe there are caveman ghosts. Maybe they're the ones who turn lights on and off. Just like, We gotta update our ghosts, right? Someday people are gonna be seeing ghosts of us, our generation. Someday you're just gonna get a text message like, "Boo." Just a Twitter update, like, "I'm right behind you." Hashtag I'm a ghost. It's probably already happening on MySpace, but nobody knows because no one goes on there anymore. Tom's the only one, like, "What was that?" That joke was for 4 of you in here, but I like it, so I do it.
My favorite time of the year to be a cop is Halloween time. Because you see the craziest stuff. And, it comes at you. You got to deal with it. This last Halloween, I'm driving down the boulevard, and there's a lady on the corner dressed up like a white cotton ball. So I was like, what? What are you? She's like, me? I was like, yeah, you. What are you? She's like, I am a loofah. Are you a dirty officer? Maybe? She's like, good. And I'm like, I realize with all the stuff going on with cops around the country that we got to be proactive, right? In building rapport with citizens. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I got you, sister. I grabbed the strobe lights. I turned them all on. I grabbed my PA and I'm all... She's like, oh my goodness, I didn't know we were going to make money. I got you. That's the scariest thing you've ever seen. I sure hope he knows where the end of the stage is. Timber! We got a patron down in the front row. Patron down. Mexican down too. Mexican. So I'm into it, right? I got this side of the street. This side of the street. Not paying attention. There comes my supervisor driving around the corner. I know, right? I didn't know what to do. So I tased the loofah. twice. That's a little too much clapping back there, sir. He should have done it third time.
Everything isn't cooler now. Some things were more fun when I was little. Halloween used to be more fun. Halloween's sad now. Kids trick-or-treat in the middle of the afternoon. They only go to the houses of people that they already know. Ooh, that's spooky. When I was little, we had to face fear and earn our candy. My parents would drive me somewhere in the middle of the night, drop me off alone, make me trick-or-treat my way back to the house. I didn't know where I was, and I couldn't see out of my mask. I had to say, trick-or-treat. Do you know which way I live? They'd always put me in the same homemade costume, an all-black costume with no reflectors. I don't want to be a ninja again. Tommy, remember, ninjas are quiet. And they walk in the middle of the street. If you were lucky enough to make it home, what'd you have to do back then? Dump all your candy out on the floor. Spread it out. If anything was unwrapped or tampered with, you had to eat that right away. Because it could go bad. Most of stand-up comedy is exaggeration. I wish I was exaggerating in this next story. I had a kid come to my door trick-or-treating last year at 3 p.m. 5-year-old boy dressed as the devil. I opened the door, trick-or-treat. Trick-or-treat, it's the middle of the day. Why aren't you trick-or-treating after dark? He goes, oh, I'm scared of the dark. You're the devil. You're the prince of darkness. Halloween's about fear. You can't handle fear. You're not getting any candy. Get into character. And I closed the door. Feeling pretty good about myself till a minute later when the devil's mom came to the door. She is way scarier than the devil.
My mom hates me. I have 2 sisters. One's a doctor, one's a lawyer, and I'm this. I'm doing dry bar comedy. My mom hates me. My mom's favorite day of the year is Halloween because for one day a year, her son's a doctor. Which is very mean. My mom said, no, dude. Every time I upset her, she makes me do weird stuff, like a punishment that I don't even see coming until it happens. Last year, she made me take my cousin trick-or-treating for Halloween. I was like, of course I will. I don't care. I love Halloween. Let's go. I go pick up my cousin, an 11-year-old Indian kid. You know what he's dressed like? A Slurpee. I wanted to knock the straw off his head. I'm like, why are you dressed like a Slurpee? You're Indian. People make fun of us about this. Why would you decide to dress yourself up like a Slurpee? But I couldn't say any of that because I was dressed like Aladdin. I could say nothing. I was like, just hop on the carpet. It's going to be a long ride. It's the worst.
Hey, Halloween. You guys like Halloween? Isn't it a great holiday? I never liked it when I was growing up. I lived on a farm. Anybody out there grew up on a farm? You live on a farm, Halloween stinks. You go trick-or-treating, the next house is 8 miles away. You walk 8 miles, a man hands you an apple. Here you go, son. Oh, gee, thank you, mister. We don't have these things on our farm. What do you call them again? It's a weird holiday. You have to go out and you buy candy and give it to other people's children. You try that any other time of year, you're going to prison. And I ran out of candy. Anybody ever run out of candy on Halloween? Well, first of all, I ate it. But it's not my fault they start selling it in July. I buy it in July. By October, half of it is gone. And last year, I ran out of candy. 7 o'clock, I was out of candy. Nothing left. I turned off the lights, and they're still knocking on the door. I'm behind the couch hiding from them. Go away! The light is off. Don't you know the rules? They still kept coming. You know, I ended up giving out expired cans of stuff. Trick or treat. Green beans. One little kid says, I'm going to give your house a bad review on Yelp. I'll like it. I guess you had to be there.
Man, you guys had a good Halloween? Yeah, it's a fun holiday. I wasn't allowed to celebrate Halloween when I was a kid. My mom told me it was the devil's holiday. Have you guys heard that before? Yeah, I wasn't allowed to celebrate ever. Then I went to college, grew up, did a little bit of research, found out it's not the devil's holiday. That's Columbus Day. Yeah. You guys went to school? Yeah. He was Satan. I don't think my mom let me celebrate Halloween because she didn't want to spend the money on a costume. Every time I asked for something, she was like, you think money grows on trees, huh? We're poor. We can't afford costumes and candy. And I'm like, We're poor? I'm 6. How did my decisions end up here, huh? You don't consult with me with the bills, okay? I'm not even old enough to work. How are we broke? I don't understand. I don't even know my social security number, right? You're poor, Mom. My teacher told me I have potential. She says I could be anything I want to be. You're poor, Mom. You messed up. I don't know what happened. But don't shame me, okay? That's on you, Mama.
And, it's great. I'm from Minnesota, so to me, Utah seems like a multicultural paradise with a tropical climate. And I got off the plane and I was like, am I in Miami? This is great. It's great to be here. This is such a beautiful venue, too. This place is amazing. I feel a little underdressed. I'm not wearing any underwear right now. Don't worry, you're fine up front. It's a clean show. Don't worry, you're fine. I'm not wearing any underwear because my wife and I are at the end of a laundry cycle right now. And the first one of us to acknowledge that they're out of clothes. That's right, they're gonna have to do that laundry. And it is not gonna be this guy. My wife thought she won the whole thing last night. I got out of the shower and I dried myself off with like 6 or 7 washcloths. And I went out into the living room and there she was, laying on the couch, eating a big bag of Cheetos in her wedding dress. Looking pretty smug about it. I didn't say a word to her. I just put on an old Halloween costume and went to bed. It did backfire on me at like 2 a.m. I got up to go to the bathroom and I walked by a mirror and freaked myself out a little bit. Like, oh my gosh, it's a saucy nurse. She's not wearing any underwear. And she's got a secret.
So I did mention that I did have a Batman-themed wedding, and that is 100% true. It's one of the coolest days of my life. I'm so happy my wife thought of it. So as you guys can imagine, my favorite holiday is Halloween. I like it a lot more now as an adult because as a kid, my family did not have a lot of money, so Halloween was never a priority to us. And it hurt because I go trick-or-treating with my friends, and my buddy Steve was Superman. He had the muscles and the cape, and my buddy Justin was a G.I. Joe. He had the camouflage face paint, the camouflage gear, the boots, the toy gun, And it hurt because I had to make my own costume for several years. And the only thing I could do is I'd take a big red rope and hold it over my head just like this. I'll go door to door trick-or-treating, and people would be like, little boy, where are you supposed to be? And I would tell them, I'm a child living below the poverty line. And I got twice as much candy as all the other kids. I know, I'm a pretty smart idiot.
So when we came to America, my dad didn't understand Halloween. It just freaked him out. The doorbell would ring, he would hide and be like, Matin, Spider-Man is here to rob us. I'm like, Dad, they're kids. They just want candy. He's like, we don't have candy. Give him our VCR and your brother. I'm like, Mom's gonna kill you. He's like, you're right. Keep the VCR.
I was in a hotel recently. They had one of those memory foam mattresses. You know, the ones you sink into it, it remembers your shape. Very comfortable mattress. I do not recommend it if you already have self-esteem issues about your body. Because the last thing you want to see first thing in the morning is that giant crater you left in the memory foam. It's no way to start the day. It's not any better on skinny people. I wake up, looks like a Halloween decoration was laying there. I'm like, oh man, I can see my rib cage. That's not healthy. I should start doing push-ups.
I did a good job on The View, so they kept calling me back. I eventually became a writer for one of the co-hosts. So I would have to take serious stuff and flip it, make it funny for them. Wasn't always easy because they had passed a law in Simi Valley, California, and it said if you were a registered sex offender and you wanted to decorate your house for Halloween, you had to put a sign on your door saying you were registered. So the registered people was all upset. If we put this sign on our door, ain't no kids coming to our house. Yeah, that's the point. But we already paid our dues. We already did our times. It don't matter. Some things it don't matter. You mess with kids, you don't get to be around kids no more. You rob a... Give it up. You rob a bank, you don't get to be a teller. Now, if I was to get arrested for not paying my taxes, when I get out, I should not be allowed to ever be around taxes again. I should be able to walk into the 99-cent store and give them $1. No, excuse me, sir, it's $1.07. No, excuse me, I am a registered tax offender. I can't be around taxes no more. So can you just give me my penny, please? Yeah, I know, thank you. Yeah, it is what it is.
You know what the second most popular holiday is in the United States? Halloween. So let's weigh it out, shall we? Peace on earth, goodwill towards men, and boom! Equally uplifting, don't you think? And by the way, have you ever noticed that boo's the only scare word we know? That's all we got, and it's not inherently scary. Watch. Boo, boo, boo. Nothing! So why do people that use it think they did something creative? Boom, gotcha, okay. No, it's the fact you were hiding in the refrigerator. That's what got me. Could have said pretty much anything. Monkey wrench, okay, that works. I don't celebrate Halloween, I'll tell you why, because it's an inherently flawed holiday. Here's how it's supposed to work. Trick or treat, I tricked you, you gotta give me candy. Problem is, you didn't trick me. You always come on the same day. Hence the bag of candy I had prepared. No trick, so no treat. The only way trick or treat would really work is if you came like in May. 3 o'clock in the morning. What is going on? Trick or treat. Oh. You got me. Okay. Wow. All right. Here's a pickle. Okay.